Welcome back to the podcast. We're calling this Why Do We Get Addicted Part 2. It is the Part 2 for Why Do We Drink, but Why Do We Drink Part 2? I mean, we ended up talking about addiction, Woods, and
yes.
I feel like we got to a place, as we often do, where we felt that we were in territory which we were unqualified for.
I think we were identifying kind of like experiences of being addicted ourselves. Yeah. Potentially more so me.
Yeah.
But
that's not true. No.
I don't think we've fully solved why.
Yeah.
Or I think the actionable thing that I hope comes from this chat will be if you are in the throes of an addiction to, again, doesn't have to be like a naughty substance or anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
How do you work your way out of that?
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. And we're out of our depth. So I said I worked with this wonderful hypno and psychotherapist called Wendy Jacobs. I reached out to Wendy and she is with us here in the room today. So welcome, Wendy.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me here.
Can I say, and you guys have worked together before,
Yes.
Wendy? You've put Will under. Have I used the right terminology? Is that right?
We might need to clear a few expressions about hypnotism before we go much further, because Woody has bought a tin hat to put over his head just in case, so you can't get into his mind.
If I feel at any point like you are putting me under, I do have the tin hat there to protect myself. But so, what was that? You spoke to Wendy about vaping?
Yeah. So initially, Wendy, I got in touch with you about vaping, which was out of control for me. And I probably had the tinfoil hat assumption that you were gonna sort of go in there and be like, the swinging watch and vaping's bad for you and all that sort of stuff. But you, interestingly, which led to me kind of, I finished doing this session with you. You explained to me, which we'll get into, a bit more about why I was addicted to vaping, and then you unlocked something in my head, which we spoke about last time, because I then went and did the radio show that afternoon, and I was
very funny.
I was in this place that I hadn't been, honestly, since I was a child. I've got a little bit of audio of that, so have a listen to this. I have been hypnotised earlier today, and it's left me in a little bit of a giddy sort of a state.
This could be a weird 2 hours.
Yeah, I've just been writing with a pencil on the desk. Check this out. So you chuck it in there, right? Bang. And then watch this. Bang. I've been having a great time. When I say time, I mean, time. She's too hot to handle. There you go. Isn't that a show?
It is a show. It's a great show.
It's called Too Hot to Handle.
You said the name.
Oh, that is what the show's called.
Yes.
We're brought to you by Netflix. No, we're not. Is it on Netflix?
The show?
Too Hot to Handle?
Yeah, it is on Netflix.
It's Will and Woody. Hope you're having a great time home. Cheers. Radio. I feel like I've got like laser vision on what's going on in my subconscious right now.
Where are you off to?
I'm just doing a quick wee.
Yeah, it's a bit mumbly. It's a bit kind of...
All right. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah, mate, that's a snack.
I think we're soliciting here, by the way.
Yes, we definitely are. It's a natural high, baby.
It's contagious.
Get hypnotized. Feel good. That should be the tagline. So that then led to us inviting you onto the radio show, and then hence in this discussion that Woody and I had in part 1 of this conversation, I explained to Woody, well, I kind of paraphrased really a lot of the stuff that you'd said to me about why I was addicted to vaping, and then we worked through over the course of a couple of months a much deeper dive into my psyche and a few of the other things that I was afraid of, and the emotional needs that weren't being met for me. So I've very quickly wrapped that up, and I hope that we can dive into this a bit further, because I know there are a lot of people that are probably thinking, including Woody, like, what is this? How do we go about this? So why don't we start with that first question, I suppose, which is, why do we get addicted to things? What is addiction?
So addiction is a coping mechanism.
Right.
It's what people will compulsively engage in as a way to give themselves short-term relief from something that feels uncomfortable. It does have long-term detrimental effects, though. And so that's why people engage in addiction, whatever it is that they're addicted to, in the first place. It's a way that they've learned to cope.
Is all addictive behavior or all addictions, do they all lead to long-term detrimental effects?
No, that's what makes it addiction, that it will have long-term detrimental effects.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's something you do compulsively that has long-term detrimental effects, and that's why it's an addiction, right? Because you know you shouldn't be doing it. You know that this is going to lead somewhere not good for me, but in the moment, compulsively, you're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not. Is it not necessarily an addiction if it's a healthy behavior?
No, that's not true. It sometimes is disguised, you know. So and they're the addictions that I like to work with.
Okay.
The ones where I actually literally have a chapter in the book that I'm writing titled "I'm Not an Addict," and that's because most of my clients will not consider themselves to be addicts because it's not what we typically would associate addiction to. And so these are people who are addicted to work addiction, for example. That's probably the most common addiction I work with my clients. So a lot of high performers that are doing things compulsively as a way to relieve a deeper discomfort. But the long-term detrimental effects often for them is disconnection from life, from people, from other things that are also important in their lives. And so they've got a very strong muscle, so to speak, you know, and we all applaud them saying, "Oh my God, aren't you amazing?" It's a bit of a gaslight for these people because they come into therapy not really understanding why they feel the way they feel, because I've got everything everyone says I'm supposed to have to be happy, but I'm deeply miserable.
Yeah.
And so the addiction has there to mask a deeper void, a deeper pain that's going on.
Okay.
Usually something that started a long time ago, way back in childhood, where essentially they were taught that they needed to be something other than who they were.
Okay. Okay.
And so I'm talking about the addicts that I typically see, work people that have work addiction. These are high performance people who we typically applaud. These are people who have been told to do all these incredible things because that's what makes them incredible, but it's not essentially who they are. It's what they do. There's a difference. And so the difference between who they are and what they do is something that can be quite complex for them to understand because performance has been a huge part of their existence.
And their identity. I
And their
imagine, as
identity.
well.
And
Yeah.
so their disconnection from themselves is quite deep. And so even in the beginning, having these conversations can be a little bit confusing when we talk about who you really are. Because they're still referring to what they do.
Yeah, it's impossible to separate the two.
That's
so
right.
so in your work with these people, you go to the void. You go to this hole that is in. So how do you get there?
Most people are aware that it's there.
Okay.
Yeah, most people are aware that it's there. So it's talking about, usually it's the biggest challenge in their life that they're facing.
Okay.
And that will typically be in a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so people do come into therapy thinking they're not going to talk about their relationships, but that's literally what the problem is, but it's also the antidote. Because the antidote to addiction is authentic connection, which is something that addicts don't have with themselves yet. So they're definitely not having it with other people, which is why the challenges are showing up in their relationships.
Right. And when saying relationships, you're saying could be romantic relationship with kids, relationship with parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. All encompassing relationships
so
in their life.
a lot of people that have been deeply wounded try to avoid intimate relationships, but you can't avoid relationships, right? So then it'll show up at work or show up anywhere in relationship because what they have is a pattern that creates disconnection. And so the pattern of disconnection that they have with themselves is outwardly projected with other people. So they're constantly in some sort of painful experience with other people.
Yeah. Is that like the old saying, you've got to love yourself before you can love someone else? Like in really basic term, that's kind of what you're touching
part
on?
of it, yeah. Part of it, yes, but also relational trauma can only be healed in the context of relationship. So the very thing that people are trying to avoid is what they need to step into to heal it. So you don't have to be perfect or be perfectly in love with yourself, but it's to step into a relationship recognizing that part of the purpose of that relationship is to heal a lot of the patterns that they're going to show up that don't work.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel this is, and the thing is as well, you can't hide from Wendy. You can't hide. Like I remember, like she really, I kind of went in there and you're trying to like tell her what, and I think everyone's experienced this in therapy, that you go in there and you've obviously got something that you subconsciously know that you don't want to confront. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you think about, any, like, in a castle, they call it the keep, like the little,
the moat.
No, the keep. It's like the final embattlement. It's the little round little place where they keep all the treasure, and the king sits there. It's kind of behind like 3 different layers of brick, and there's it's back there. Like retreat to the keep. Like everyone retreat there, because if you get there, it's the last place the enemy's going to get in. And I feel like everybody. When you go into therapy, or if you go into the world, we've all got a keep where it's just like, here's this little thing about me that like, I know it's there, but there's no way I'm going in there as well. Like, it's
scary to confront.
It's a bit intense, right?
So you don't even want to go to your own keep.
You don't want to go to your own keep.
Yeah.
And I remember when I started seeing Wendy, and the like terrifying and beautiful thing about Wendy is that I remember, you kind of like putting up this front, and she knows. She's like,
do you know every time, Wendy? Like when you're getting maybe some dishonesty from someone you're seeing?
I feel.
Yeah.
You
this
feel
is the
it.
thing.
Yeah.
She sees it.
Whoa.
She said to me.
How reluctant was Will to go there? I mean, I'm just curious. If that's okay, I don't want to pry.
I was going to say you can use me as a case study. I think that's maybe important, that we've got something tangible to work with here, so it's not too nebulous for everyone listening.
So how much resistance were you getting from Will earlier, where you were like, you're telling me this, but I'm feeling that that's not the case?
I would say I could feel that be true for Will, but I also felt that it wasn't something he really wanted to step into.
Okay.
So I won't, I don't push too hard.
Of course, yes.
It's an opening, and it's built on trust, and it doesn't happen like there's no speed to it that you can just sort of push through someone's walls to get to that wound. It's like a gentle unfolding.
Do you ever say though, like this? Do you get to a point where you go, this isn't going to work if you don't unfold a little bit, or do you just kind of go on their time?
You know what? I do go straight in there, like straight to what I'm feeling.
Okay.
So I'll probably just use different language, but I do go straight there. I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Wendy was telling me that she feels things on people like before they've felt them.
Are you feeling anything on me right now, Wendy? Or you've got incredible eye contact, Wendy. And I did have a moment where I was like, right? I'm going to get the helmet. But I am. So is it something do you only get the feelings when you are in a session, or are you always picking up on?
No, I think I call it attunement, and it's like it's in a session because you're connected to the person, and so you can feel what they're feeling, right?
Yeah.
But when I say that, I'll say I can feel what you're feeling. Some people are so detached from their essence that the ego, the part that's showing up to present the story, is who they think I'm connecting to. But that's not who I'm connecting to. I can feel what's going on beneath that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really interestingly, and I'm willing to go there to an extent, but so I have a highly addictive personality. I'm probably, anyone who knows me knows that. So if
Wendy knows, mate.
Oh, you know.
She knows.
How? What do you mean? Wendy, how?
Get the hat.
How? Are you serious? Did Will tell you? Or did you?
I didn't say anything. I was joking, but now I think she actually does know.
I laugh because I think we're all addicts. If we're going to be truthful, we all are, because no one's connected really to their truth and who they are. That's what the whole journey of life is about. It's about coming back into that relationship with yourself. Like, Maslow calls it full actualization. So unless you're going to say you're fully actualized, which you're not,
no,
right?
definitely not.
You have to admit that there's a disconnect going on. And so if there's a disconnect going on, there's a pain and there's a challenge. If there's a pain and a challenge, there's a coping mechanism that you obviously are using if you're stuck in life to keep yourself there.
And that's what the addiction is, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I can't handle this part. I can't accept this authentic part of what is the authentic part of myself.
Yeah.
Which makes it up.
Yeah.
And this is something that Wendy explained to me, was this idea that we all have like parts of ourselves, right? And I remember this, one of the most profound things I remember you saying to me, Wendy, was every part of you is actually, even though it might not feel that way because you dislike that part of you, every part of you is trying to protect you.
Yeah.
Like every part of you is on your team.
Yeah.
Every part of you is going, I'm just trying to look out for us.
Yeah.
Right?
Including the ego, right? The ego actually is.
Yeah.
It's got the best intentions. Your
Or
ego
the
to
part
protect
that
you.
vapes in
Yeah.
Will's case, you know, people come in and they say, so people come to see me on, you know, they're either aware that they've got an addiction or they're not aware. That they come on all like a big spectrum, but people say things like, you know, they hate that they drink or smoke or compulsively eat or whatever they're doing. Those things are there as a coping mechanism, which means the part of you that smokes is actually doing that as a way to minimize some sort of discomfort that you're feeling. So, you know, if we're just going to, I usually start with saying that the way that we're hardwired and we are is to avoid pain and gain pleasure, right? But the pain is the discomfort of our emotions, which most people are trying to avoid the truth of. And so the discomfort is that there's something that comes up that doesn't feel comfortable and I just quickly slap a Band-Aid on it, eat a smoke, a drink, a yell, or whatever I do. Now I figured out this relieves me of pain. It's like pain relief, right? So now whenever that pain creeps up, I just smoke, eat, drink, whatever it is that I do. And that becomes my way of being, so to speak, becomes my pattern, becomes my whatever personality. Sometimes people attach themselves to their behaviors, right? And they'll literally say, I am, whatever the behavior is, even anger. Right? Anger is a cover emotion for a deeper wound, a hurt. So someone that's chronically angry is someone that's deeply hurt. But people often don't see that. They just see the anger. And people who are angry often don't know that because maybe they've lived a life where everyone's just reflected back to them that they're just an angry person. No one's connecting to the wound that's beneath that.
Okay.
Right? And so even it's not just a substance that can be an addiction. It can be a way of relating that becomes an addiction because it's a compulsive thing to do that causes long-term detrimental effects. A mindset can be an addiction. So some of my people that I work with are brilliant. They're so brilliant. And I love working with them because they're challenging, right? Because they have these amazing egos that have got them to the absolute top.
Yeah.
The thing that's got them to the absolute top also is what's had created this massive disconnection between who they are and who they became. But who we become, what the gap there is a sense of true belonging. And so that's the pain that they feel when they're at the top. So it's like they've walked to the top of the mountain and they're like, okay, this is still shit, right? And they don't even want to go for any more goals now because I've done everything or I'm burnt out, I'm exhausted, whatever it is, but I just don't want to go any further. There's something wrong with me, you know? What is it? And part of my job is actually to help them walk back down the mountain. Because when you're up there, it's extremely lonely and the disconnect, you know, the antidote is reconnection with themselves. But that's the fear. They don't want to be like everybody else. Like being like everybody else was like one of the things that drove them like all the way up here, right? This is what makes me special and loved. This is what I am. This is what makes me worthy. Not who I am, what I do, but the pain of disconnection is too much. And so there's a lot of shedding.
To get to the keep.
Well, to can't walk back down.
Well,
right.
Like they're here and they're like, oh, I want this to change, but do you really? Are you ready to let go?
You got to let go of the thing that's protecting you in order to.
Yeah, sometimes it's relationships, it's career.
Right.
It's like your life, if you're going to do this work properly, like to its depth, will look nothing like it did at the beginning.
Yeah, and that's really scary. And we actually spoke about this on the last podcast, was this idea of it's even though inherently you might know that the thing that you're addicted to is bad for you, the irony is you would rather keep hurting yourself than stop and face up to the thing that's underneath it.
Yeah.
And as I was listening to the last pod, Woods, and you so correctly said, that makes total sense because the thing that the wound that is underneath is so scary. Like it is for most people in all of their lives, something that they would never dream of confronting, let alone want to confront. Like it's you know, they'll choose
it's a
painful,
harm.
They'll choose harm myself every day of the week.
Yeah.
Especially when the harming of yourself isn't necessarily having any tangible negativity in your life, right? Like, because you keep talking about this, it's going to have long-term detriment, but like you're saying that so many of the people that you see, they're from everyone, from the outside, it's like you're on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
You're nailing what you are doing. So it must be hard to convince that person on the top of the mountain that like, no.
They know. They usually come when they're all like burnt out.
That's
or
so that's
fully
when they
addicted to
see
something that's actually they're quite scared of, or they realize if they get caught out, everything will come tumbling down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So can it though? Can everything come tumbling down when you confront whatever the thing is that's inside the person?
It can, because the scary thing is oftentimes their life has been built on a lie. It's not the truth. It's not who they are. So I like that you use this example of an artist being born into the family of lawyers, right?
Yep.
And their artistry is just beautiful, right? But it's never valued. And so they're told that this is just play. This is not worth anything. You just like, what is this? Like, pull your socks up, go to school, become a lawyer like the rest of us. We're successful. So they do that, and they go out and they become the lawyer, and they marry the wife, and they build the home, and right. And then there's this deep sadness, and there's this deep dissatisfaction, and this deep disconnection from themselves, right? And they look around and they're like, don't get me wrong, I'm not ungrateful, because I hear this, I hate to, people feel like it's first world problems, right? I've got everything. I've got a beautiful wife, I've got a beautiful home, I've got all this stuff. I'm just really miserable. And it's the disconnect. And so when you start to get them reconnected to things that they actually enjoy, like say, let's just art playfully, right? Let's just do little things.
Yeah.
They start to find that spark again, right? And they start to step into it. And then if you're going to start stepping into things more and more, you're starting to listen to yourself. And it's like has a snowball effect, right?
Yeah.
Maybe over years, maybe over it starts to take its effect now.
Yeah.
You may eventually leave your job as a lawyer and become an artist. Who knows, right? You might sell a piece for like $20,000, right? Your value will be seen in the eyes of people that value it. And it's not always your family. And this is where people have so much trouble letting go, because our sense of survival comes from our family from the moment we're born.
Yeah.
What do I need to do to survive this environment? Be loved, really.
Yeah.
Who do I need to become? And so we become this amalgamation of what our parents, society, schools, whoever told us we needed to be loved and approved of. And we became that. And now we're going to say, surprise, I'm an artist. Like, it's a bit of a ridicule for some people, but it's far deeper for others, right? So, yeah, your life can come tumbling down, but it's as scary as that sounds, it brings you back into your truth, back into your heart, back into what's honest. And the people that do love you for you are the ones that you're in relationship with now.
Yes.
You're no longer playing a role to be something that will never be loved. These people are like, no one loves me, right? And I use my hands for this one. Because no one loves me is like, no one loves me is what they're saying, but they can't even see you.
Yeah.
Right.
Will that authentic self, will they still engage in addictive behavior, or is that like...
No, because the antidote is authentic connection. This part now is being connected to in a loving way. Now, this doesn't always feel good, though. So this is our attachment to feelings, like good and bad feelings, where people think, oh, my life should feel good.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like, no, actually, your life is going to be quite painful, but suffering is something else, right? Pain is challenge. Challenge helps us grow. So it's inevitable. But suffering is when you feel stuck and there's nothing you can do. No one really wants to be there. So when you're living an authentic life, people are connecting to you in your pain. When you're living an inauthentic life, you're completely isolated. No one sees you, and that's what's driving the addiction.
Fascinating. Yeah.
So I think the next interesting step, which I found really interesting for me, was once you kind of get in touch with this part of you that you're not listening to, that you're soothing, that you're, covering up with whatever you're addicted to.
Yep.
Once you realize that's there, how do you replace or supplant the addiction, and how do you? And this is the work that you do that I think this can get into what hypnotherapy is a little bit as well, because this thing lives so deep within you.
Yeah.
Often this is something that as a person, this insecurity, this wound that you have, this thing that you're scared of, is not even something, unless you're trained or practiced at it, that you can get in touch with. It's just so far away. Yeah. And one of the things that, I sort of, what it turned out to be for me was I had an issue with safety. I felt very unsafe. And again, just to give you an example of how foreign this was to me, I remember we started the session and Wendy had obviously gone away and done her homework, and I don't know whatever else you do. I feel like you're kind of like sitting there with a voodoo doll of me, kind
of crystal ball or something,
kind of like thinking about me. And you the first thing you said in the session was, "Okay, well, I want to talk to you about safety."
Yeah.
And I was like, safety, schmafety. Like, I got no issue with safety, Wendy. And you said to me, I just need you to breathe. And I was like, why? And you said, well, you haven't breathed in like 45 seconds. Like you're, and she's like, I can just feel this on you. Like this is the protection mode. She's
Yeah.
like, you're in it.
Yeah.
You're like, I was making jokes and I was just like, yeah, well, so no, you missed one, Wendy. Like, nowhere near. And she's like, no, this is it. This is why I'm bringing it up with you. And then the process that we went through to kind of getting in touch with that thing was so profound and scary in one sense, surprising in another, because I was like, I just did not know that was there. And then the relief on the other side of that was enormous.
Yeah.
So what is that process, finding this wound?
Yeah.
And then how do you help people supplant the addiction to actually nurture or listen to what that thing is, so that they don't keep reaching for the addictive thing to cover it up?
Yeah, that's a good question. The process and I use the word hypnotherapy, I should say, because it's what people are familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many other modalities that are very similar. And what the process is helping you reconnect more deeply with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we go inward to the part of you. So every single one of us, as you mentioned earlier, has multiple parts to our personality. We all do, right? We show up as different versions of ourselves in different contexts.
Yeah.
It can get confusing for some people. The biggest challenge we face in life are the parts of ourselves that are in conflict with one another, right? That's usually, again, in our relationships, right? And so I literally hear people say, part of me wants to and part of me doesn't. And that's what's happening.
Yeah, you hear that all the time.
All the time, right?
Yeah.
And it's not the part of you that wants to that's the problem, right? People want to override that. And I mean the addiction. Well, let's just get rid of this. Let's just bulldoze that part. This is the part that's actually wounded. So we're going to do the opposite. We need to step into a relationship with this part. We need to pull it close. We need to hear it. We need to see it. We need to feel it. We need to understand it.
Yeah.
We need to understand its deeper emotional needs. And some people don't even know what that means, right? But the connection with this part is what we're starting to establish. Just recognize it's there. That's the step. That's the first step. Because when you've disowned a part of yourself, it's in your subconscious now. You've disowned, denied, deflected. It's over there. You can't see it anymore.
Yeah.
But when you start to acknowledge it, it's there, then at least, right? The next thing is to actually attune to it, which you need to create an element of safety. And the safety is about, I'm not going to bulldoze this part and push it away and say it doesn't exist.
This actually came up in the part one of the pod last time, because Woods had 6 months off drinking.
Yeah.
And I was saying, it's funny, when you talk about how to deal with an addiction, this is the first thing you said to me. You were like, have you had time off vaping? And I was like, yeah, like, I have a couple of weeks here and there. And she was like, yeah, but because you're bulldozing it, which is a term that you used. And you said the same thing, Woods. You're like, no, I just went cold turkey.
Yeah.
Like easy, just like bang, knock it out, game over.
Right.
Why is bulldozing not effective?
Yeah, it's a relationship pattern. Like, I'm just going to be straight. If you're bulldozing yourself, you bulldoze other people. So why isn't it effective to bulldoze others? Like, we'll treat ourselves so much worse than what we treat other people.
Of
right?
course, yeah.
And so if I do bulldoze, let's say a child, let's go really intense, where we really look at ourselves like you just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So why do we do it with ourselves, right?
Yeah.
If a child's doing something harmful and you want to correct that behavior, you might interrupt that pattern by bringing attention that's not healthy, not good, unsafe, whatever. But to create a deeper connection, you want to understand why.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Like, why are you doing that? Right? And you want to deeply listen.
Okay.
You want to be fully present so you can understand their reality, which means completely leave yourself at the door. Literally take your shoes off and step into the reality of someone else so that you can see, feel, hear, and understand what's going on in their world. Now, when you do that, what will happen is that you actually realize, you know what, if I was in their shoes, I'd probably do that too. Because you do have an understanding now. You're no longer shaming them and saying that's a bad thing. Don't do that. You're going, I understand why you're doing that. There's a better way.
Yes.
Right. And it's the same with ourselves, except we don't often treat ourselves like that in relationship. We bulldoze.
Yeah.
And we want to attach to what we consider
Don't
to be
do
good.
that.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
Yeah.
Don't even think of it. I'm not even
understanding.
going to tell you why.
No.
Don't bloody do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't know ourselves deeply enough to know. We're just correcting something or thinking it's bad, but it's not bad. I always talk about things not being good or bad because we have this attachment again to good and bad based on what and people mostly want to identify with what's good. Now, when you do that, you disown what's not bad. You say it's not me. Now, if you're going to live your life doing that, then you're going to blindside yourself to what really needs to be acknowledged for you to come into relationship with a more authentic version of yourself.
Yeah.
But it also, imagine being in a relationship with someone that thought that all they were was good,
Yeah.
right? It's extremely narcissistic.
Yeah.
So the bulldozing pattern's also narcissistic. And I'll say that that's on a spectrum because everyone is, right?
Yeah.
It's just how bad you are, right?
Yeah,
and
sure.
so when you recognize that, you go, okay, perhaps that's what I learned in the past. It was a pattern that if I just push through, and most high achievers are like this. I've been like this. I've bulldozed myself to the point of burnout, right?
Yeah.
So knocked out before I even listened to myself.
Yeah.
And now that I'm knocked out, the thing about burnout is you're forced to listen to yourself. The only way to recover from burnout is baby steps.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
there's no getting back on your feet and just going for it again.
Yeah.
It's like rehabilitation for the nervous system.
Yeah.
So you so attuned to what feels good and what doesn't feel good, because for me, my nervous system was just shot and it was like, oops, no, that's not good. Oh, that's better. So I'm going for relief.
Is this burnout that you're talking about? Was it prior to you getting into the hypnotherapy and stuff? Like
this was recently.
Right. Okay.
This was recently.
Yeah.
So, my journey into all of this work has been very unseen from myself. The drive to be. I first studied psychology to be a psychologist. That was the first thing, and I thought, I wanted this profession so that I could help people. And then I got into performance psychology and NLP, hypnosis, and all different types. But really, like most people, I was trying to do is actually understand my own pain. Like, how do I know all this stuff, apply all this stuff, and life's still shit?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it literally was. So it was probably about 8 years ago that I started the journey of going into more of the aspects of myself that I wasn't willing to look at and wasn't willing to feel and see and acknowledge. And because I got to a point in my life where I had nothing to lose. When you get to that place, you sort of go.
Yeah, you when you bottom out.
Yeah.
I was actually listening to a talk from a guy called Adyashanti the other day where he was talking about bottoming out, and he was like, when people come to me and they say, "Oh, hey, Adya, I've bottomed out," he's like, "Great. Now we can get started.
Now we can build."
Like you're
There's only one way now.
You're at the bottom, which just means you're not struggling anymore. You're not lying to yourself anymore. Like when you say I've bottomed out, there's a real knowing to that.
Yeah.
You're like, people only really use that language when they're like, you know.
Yeah,
You're
you just feel like I've got nothing left to lose.
I've hit the wall.
Yeah.
That I'm there. I physically can't move from here.
Yeah.
And then that's the place where you can actually start learning.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So for me, that many years ago, what that meant for me was no more people pleasing.
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
done,
wow.
right?
How did you do that? I
I
can
got
people please.
destructive though at the time because I didn't know a better way to do it.
What do you mean destructive?
I just pushed, like rather than step into a relationship and be able to do what's uncomfortable in an authentic, loving way. I just pushed. My no was a hard no.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
So it was a bit like, fuck you, right? That's more what it was like.
Bit of an overcorrect.
Yeah. So it went from this big pendulum swing from being a people pleaser to being that, right?
Yeah,
I remember my dad saying to me, just because you've been hurt doesn't mean you don't let people change you.
Yeah.
And I was like...
because it can be confronting for people as well, right? Like if you've been a certain way, like friends or partners, right? You've been like a people pleaser for so long. You're right. The first time you say no or you set a boundary, you see it on people. You're like, people are like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You say yes to everything. What's going on? And it's like, no, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like for who?
Yeah, totally. And you're right, though. There's a nice little selective process that happens there where it's like the people who react badly to you setting your boundaries, you go like, well, you didn't actually care about me.
Yeah.
You were enjoying taking advantage of the fact
I was
that...
angry, right? Which was my cover emotion for hurt. Too vulnerable to be hurt. Didn't feel safe in relationships enough to bring that hurt to anybody. So I was angry, right?
Yeah.
And there was only a few people that could see past that. My dad being one of them. And that's because he's probably sat in that wounded place. So he could see that quite clearly in me. And so for me, it was more about going, okay, I'm not going to be a good girl anymore, basically, right? And so in doing that, I had to actually also now to see how I was being a bad girl, which I didn't see at the time. I was so attached to this idea of being a good person that I actually did not see where I wasn't being a good person. But like most women I'll see and children, it's done in highly disguised, manipulative ways that you don't even recognize as being bad. So I use the word bad. That's not necessarily what it is. It's inauthentic. It's not truthful. So I didn't know how to be truthful. So I be people pleaser. I did what was comfortable for me, but it wasn't real.
Mm.
And so when life didn't work out, I was really angry, right? I was really angry, did the pendulum swing. My coping mechanism was work,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I could control that, right? Even the relationships, I get to go to the depths of relationships with my clients without making myself too vulnerable,
Yeah,
being
right.
able to be hurt. So I could somewhat get my needs met.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, right. So deeply fulfilling.
Yeah.
But then I have to deal with my own life too, right?
Yeah.
So like most people, their professional life is just so amazing, but the personal life was deeply suffering, right? And I'm like,
And that's the bulldozing, sorry,
Yeah.
with the professional with that professionalism, right? It's
Yeah.
like I'm going to ignore
Yeah,
what's actually going on.
yeah, I'm gonna attach to this part of my identity, this ego part,
Yeah.
this part that it still is part of who I am, but it's only part. There's no disowning the other part now, right?
Yeah.
This other part is now in relationship with other people's too, so it's more balanced.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of this is to bring more balance into your life.
Yeah, sure.
So when you have balance, then you're not burnt out, firstly, right? And your relationships are balanced. They're good and bad. You don't have to. You're not attached to them having to be any particular way. You know that they're a practice. I talk about relationships being a practice,
Yeah.
or love being a practice, really, of seeing, feeling, hearing, and understanding. A little bit like the example with the child, right? That's literally a practice. So it's not an emotion. Most people attach relationships to being this emotion I'm supposed to feel. But if we do that, we're not going to last very long, which is probably why culture doesn't, right? Because we're attached to it has to feel good, and it doesn't feel good, must be bad.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening, right? And so relationships are now, for me and for the people I work with, a practice of seeing, feeling, hearing, and understanding someone else's reality, so much so that there's a sense of oneness and unity with them.
Which
right?
can be easier said than done, because often that can lead to some pretty emotionally charged disagreements, right? When you're when you're protecting for whatever reason or getting defensive in that scenario. I've found that with my wife. But it's funny when we go through this, it takes a while for it. We've got on this podcast turning off your kill switch.
Right.
Which is basically like just try not to get so defensive with saying that, because if your partner brings up something which goes against, for whatever reason, the way that you think things should be, it can get a bit like you can butt heads. But it's funny. I feel like on the other side of those conversations, for me and my partner, it's like we're always so much better. After, because it was like this was a bad conversation to have, but I've labelled it bad as well. It's so interesting how we do that, but it's like they're obviously not bad, because it gets us to a place which is a really more authentic place.
The challenge is the good. That's where you get to learn and grow, right? The logo that I use and the little circles that I talk about is like, we live in, this is my bubble and your bubble, right? And we live in these little protective bubbles, but where we need to learn to live is in that middle part there. So there's a you, me, and an us. And so then, when you're having a conflict, even with yourself, but let's talk about with other people, because it's easier to identify. You're usually in your bubble and they're in theirs. And the challenge is to do that, to step into one another's reality. That's the challenge. But that's the commitment. That's the practice. And it gets easy over time.
I think that's a good, I know you were saying let's use that with other people, but if we can go back to this like addiction thing, that kind of just dawned on me that's the same thing, isn't it? You're like, here's me, which is the ego person that you're identifying as, that you know where you get your kicks. Yeah, your professional life is amazing, or if it's drugs or alcohol or whatever it is, like that's soothing me over here. And you kind of subconsciously know that there is this other thing that you're ignoring that's kind of over there. And you're on opposite sides of the Venn diagram. There's no crossover at all. And then so the process of, rather than bulldozing the hidden part of you that you don't want to face up to, the process of becoming one with this authentic part of you that you've been ignoring for so long, how should people go about
in session with my clients? I suppose I'm that representation of that first relationship with their authenticity. So that's what's happening there. Like, it's the first time in a safe container that we're creating. It's very transactional, so there's a lot of safety. We're going to start a relationship with this part of you. And so as they journey through that and everything they're now learning how to actually form authentic relationships with others. So it first starts with me. And then it slowly builds to the next person until they finally have their little circle, their little tribe. It doesn't have to be everyone. It's unlikely ever going to be everyone. But you're no longer in isolation suffering anymore.
Yeah.
You actually now have your people.
So you're saying that you were the first person that Will had an authentic connection with
this part of him that's been neglected for so long.
Wow.
It's the first time that I felt safe enough to say that it was there.
Wow. And so you see that all the time. You get that you're the first frontier, if you will, for like meeting authentic. So how different is so when you go into session, and obviously it ranges from client to client, how different is authentic self from inauthentic self? So the person you meet,
completely. Like, so again, because most of my clients are high performance, high achievers, it's very different. Right. It's funny too, because sometimes they'll come in with their ego, so to speak. And I'm like, whoa, because this is not who I'm used to seeing. And if they've lived in that part, because that's a protector part too, there's nothing wrong with that. And
don't have to say this, but obviously will. But go on, Wendy. on a big business call, I imagine. Like, sell it all. Hi, Wendy. How are you?
Well, that's why I try to feel so comfortable around Wendy. It's really funny that I don't feel the need to
No, I didn't have that experience with you, to be honest.
Really?
No, I didn't. Well, maybe little bits, but I'm not talking about big,
bravado.
We just walked in the room just now.
Sure.
And it's interesting because when you're in that part, it's very real. It's a real, I call it like a takeover. It's very real. It's not like you're aware that you're doing something. It's a total takeover. Yeah. And so this person, I'm thinking of a client at the moment, will carry on and I'll be just watching, thinking, like, what's happened? Something's happened for the takeover, because the takeover is a protective mechanism, right? And again, these people obviously coming to see me because something deeply vulnerable is happening in their life. So it's not hard for protector to surface and live out. But often the protector can be quite, they don't do that, right? It's the protector part. They've got their own interests at heart.
And this protector part is the part of you that is reaching for the addictive substance.
Yeah.
Because that's going, hey, look, we can't deal with what's buried deep in there.
Yeah, but have this and you'll feel better.
Yeah.
Have this,
but
you'll
I'll
feel
tell
better.
you what. Yeah. And that I didn't realize that was why I was vaping. Yeah. It was like I didn't want to deal with this feeling of being unsafe.
Yeah.
So, and this is something that we discovered, and something we've spoken about in this podcast, is that I am naturally a very good protector, which kind of which makes it really difficult for me, because that's a part of me that I rely on.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Significantly in my life is the fact that I love protecting people.
Yeah.
So this part of me, when it came to this part of myself, was so good at protecting it. It was like, don't worry, dude. Like,
of course.
Just chill out down there. You're unsafe. I'm in charge here. I protect you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. And it was so ironic to discover, and I think anyone that does any of this sort of work, it's ironic to discover that, like, the thing that you least want to do is the thing that you need to do.
Yeah. Or that you least see, even.
100%. 100%. I did not get it. I was like, when he's like, this is safety. And I'm like, it's not safety. Like, and again, because here's safety and protecting, they're the same things. That's what, when he said you got an issue with safety, I was like, mate, I am a great protector. I protect myself. I protect everyone around me. But then, of course, I've got an issue with safety. That is why I am a great protector. You know, there's no mistake there.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because I'll say I had a similar experience with love, right? Because I was like, I love people and I'll give myself like fully in my relationships. And then people go, do you love yourself? And I'm like,
of course I do.
Of
I'm a great lover. That's the whole point, right?
Right. And I really believe that from this version of who I was.
Yeah.
Not from the depth of who I was.
Yeah.
So I had no awareness that that part even existed.
Yes.
And so
your greatest strength, greatest weakness, there's so much truth in that. Like we keep stumbling into that truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you think that the thing that you're best at, the thing you think that you outlay, the thing that you think that you're putting out into the world is your bit.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you tie your colours to.
Yeah.
More often than not, that is always the thing that you are not so good at.
That's so true.
Just like you're being to other people the thing that you need. That's what I'm picking up on, right? It's
that
like,
too.
It's like because you know let's say, because you know the pain.
Yes.
That's why I can probably say this. The idea of offending someone is very painful to me.
Yeah.
Right. So naturally, I'll be very sensitive around anyone. I always wanting to make people feel good.
Yeah.
But I think that's because I'm sensitive, and that can be a negative part of me,
Yeah.
or I can view that as that way,
Yeah.
as like because I'm easy to hurt.
Yeah. So people are wearing their biggest wounds, but we don't see it.
Yeah, because funnily enough, we try and flip it. We try and do the opposite almost, but in a bizarre way.
Yeah.
So the way that we kind of moved from there was Wendy gave me a whole bunch of things that I could kind of promise this part of myself.
Oh, yes.
Which I think is the sort of the next step when you're dealing
it's committing
with this
to
addiction.
having a relationship
With the thing you've been burying, the thing that you've been using addiction to soothe.
Yeah. So can I just talk? I'm going to talk about the book that I'm writing,
Please.
right? And the title is Free Yourself, which is freeing yourself, your authentic self, finding our way back to love, which are relearning all the relationship patterns that will actually help you connect authentically with yourself. But first, it requires identifying the relationship patterns that are keeping you in distance from yourself. They're the blind spots.
Yeah.
But they're not blind in your relationships.
Yeah.
Because people will be telling you and you're having conflict. So it's whether you're going to choose to step into that to understand more deeply what someone is communicating, because it's the outside in, inside out kind of work, right? And it's got 2 subtitles, A Journey of Recovery. And so the recovery is for people, often they come because they want to recover from addiction, but it's a deeper recovery of themselves.
Yeah.
And so it's a beautiful book. It's about the fact that we're in so much pain that we're masking and coping with addiction.
Yeah.
But in the journey of wanting to overcome that pain, we're learning to relate more authentically from a loving space so that we can connect authentically with ourselves and others. You can have the awareness, and awareness can be painful in itself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so necessary, but the unlearning is also really difficult, which is why the conscious relationship is so important, to have someone be that committed to loving you, right?
Yeah.
Because we need that. I said you can't heal from this outside of a relationship. It needs to be in the context of a relationship, that someone that's committed to doing that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just rewounding.
Yeah. And showing them that part of you is
Deeply
so
vulnerable.
scary. Like, I mean, even after we did this work, I kind of, Sam also did the same stuff with Wendy, and gee whiz. I mean, some of the stuff that kind of flowed between us afterwards, we just kind of didn't expect it to happen.
Of course. Yeah.
But, you kind of leave the session and then we'd walk to each other and be like, I think I need to tell you about this thing. and you'd kind of just spill, and then you'd both be, vulnerability trips vulnerability, and that like the only thing to come from it has been enormous growth.
Yeah.
So thank
and
you for that.
Deep connection, like that's
Yeah. Yeah.
because life is hard.
Oh man.
Yes. We said before we started recording, life is war. And I think once
Life is war. Did we say that? Did we?
we did say that. Well,
Yeah.
Luz.
Oh, geez,
Our producer Luz said, I'm in the wars. And I was like, life is war. And the sooner you just appreciate that, the easier life becomes, because it's always going to be a war. And that seems
I just
grim,
realised,
but
by the way, that we forgot Lucy's cookies. We were meant to offer Wendy a cookie. Meant to offer all our guests a cookie.
Wendy, would you like an Anzac biscuit?
Thank you.
Well,
That's very random.
Luz made them.
I have one
Lucy-
later.
Lucy-
I have
yeah,
one
yeah.
later. Thanks, Liz.
We have a little post-pod celebratory
I should
Anzac
have bought.
biscuit.
Oh,
I
I,
just saw
had
them sitting
brownies
out
at
there and I was
home. My
like,
daughter
shit,
made
I
them.
didn't take
Oh,
the
you
cookie.
made brownies. How old? Is it one daughter?
Two.
Two girls?
Yeah, 2 girls and a boy. So I've got 3 children.
Oh, 3 kids.
Yeah.
Awesome. Can I ask you, and I hope this isn't too personal, but do you, as the mother, you would probably pick up on the fact that when maybe your kids aren't being their authentic selves,
Yeah.
how is that difficult to
No.
engage with?
Someone asked me that question last week, but with a different spin. And that's so my kids are very self-aware, right?
Yep.
Because of the way that we relate.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're very self-aware. They have their wounds. They have their challenges, of course.
Yeah.
I'll say, like, my daughter said to me the other day, and this is just going off topic for a minute. She goes, her friend said to her, how did you become this way? Like, how, because she just holds incredible space for them and has such a deep, loving connection. And she nurtures her relationships. And, and she goes, my life has just been one long therapy session.
Free therapy.
Have you met my mum?
It's the truth. So the kids, like, because we're and they're attuned to me. Like there's no bullshit that way either. Like they know, and they will sit in the mud and the dark and the yucky spots with me too. Especially my eldest. Like she will never. She's loyal as.
Yeah.
she just won't budge. Even if there's
Mm.
nothing to say, she won't budge.
Mm.
And that's so healing for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's so great. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
where we all want to get to as parents.
Yeah.
That place where it's like, and you're right, it starts with, I think, you know, naturally for me, thinking of my daughter's only, she's just shy of 3. So like very, very early days. But you think about the kind of parent that you want to be, and the kind of parent you want to be is the one that they would feel comfortable sharing whatever with, right? And that includes painful, awful stuff. But as long as they always feel comfortable to share that with me, then then I'm going to be being a great father, right? But that starts with me going, why? This can't be a one-way street.
Literally, right?
You need to let her know
Yeah.
the uncomfortable things that you're dealing with. Or
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? Or being authentic
Absolutely.
about that rather than always putting on the brave face and everything's
Yeah.
fine with me, which I think I can be guilty of doing.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you're going to have to rethink that if you want that relationship with your daughter.
Literally. Yeah, literally. It's a hard one too. There's a line, because I do sometimes think, oh, I don't want to parentify my child, right?
Yeah.
But she's so deeply attuned that, like, there's just no getting past her, like I said. So it even makes you think about that, you know, is that what's happening? You know, we can be really hard on ourselves sometimes, you know, everyone wanting to get it right. There's no perfect,
No.
right?
Yeah.
That's just something else that I'm learning, and also something that I like to pass on, and
Yeah.
that there is no perfect, right? There's imperfect life, imperfect love. You know, we're all constantly learning and finding better ways. Yeah. So the way I raised my first child when she was little was completely different to the way my third child was raised.
of course.
Completely
Of
different.
course.
Yeah.
And so it's like someone says, I think it's Maya Angelou, when we know better, we do better. Yeah, we did then what we know how, and when we know better, we do better. And so that's a constant thing that we need to reevaluate, you know.
Yeah.
Before we go, I was just wondering, because I was thinking there are probably some people that are listening to this that are like, well, this is really foreign for me, and this is something that I'm going to find hard to do, and is there truth to what Wendy's saying? So I was just wondering if you felt comfortable with Woody and I right now, and I suppose Lucia, who's in here as well. Would you be willing to kind of just for a couple of minutes, just guide us through sort of like I feel like audio is a beautiful medium like this, so people can listen to it in their headphones or whatever. Just guide us through just like a little bit of what it looks like to sort of like have a look inside at like what might be a bit hidden from you right now within your authentic self.
Yeah.
Is that something you think you could do?
I think just breathing deeply often helps. You know, I often say that people are so caught up in their minds.
Yeah.
You know, we're always preoccupied with things that haven't happened or have already happened. Rarely are we present. So when you breathe deeply, let's say for 2 minutes, you start to feel grounded and present, right? Your brainwave frequency comes down, your heart waves come into sync. I think the first thing is to start to notice where you're connected. And most people are connected in their head and not in their heart. And we want to balance that. And so it's about getting reconnected to your heart, right? And I would say primarily, because I think that's where the weakness is for most people. And just sit with that discomfort. And I think it can be really uncomfortable for people sometimes to really sit with the discomfort of what's going on, even if there's nothing to do, you know. What happens in the moment of trauma, meaning something painful happens emotionally, is that we disconnect from this part ourselves. We disconnect because it's too painful. We don't know how to stay present with it. So we disconnect, and we have this takeover, this split, this other ego that comes forward that says, I can deal with this. Now, this part then starts to form our personality. For most people, we have a fake personality, right? We're walking around saying, this is who I am, when it's not the truth. Now, this disconnection that happened, what's going on here is this part of you didn't just disappear. It got buried. And the void now, that's what people are trying to fill. So when you breathe deeply and you recognize the void, it's going to be painful. It's not going to be like, oh, this is so blissful and beautiful. At first, it's going to be painful. It's like sitting in grief almost, right? And then wondering if you even want to go there, right? And to really acknowledge firstly that this part, be present with it, right? Now, when we are present, right, there's no past, there's no future, there's just this moment of now, right? It's actually not that painful. The pain that you're feeling is the pain of the trauma memory from years ago that makes it feel that way, right? So when we start to do this work and we recognize that we're not there anymore, we're here, the nervous system starts to settle down a little bit. It's a little bit like PTSD in a way. You know how PTSD works, like people are having experiences as if something's happening that's not happening.
From the past.
Right. So now you're going, okay, we're here and we're safe, we're good.
Right.
You've created
I'm not reliving that.
And you're completely safe with me now. Right. Now, this is how you start to reestablish safety with yourself.
Yeah, right.
And you're acknowledging it, you're in the present moment, and you're moving forward. And it feels different because it's not the detachment that you're used to charging along with. It's a different way of moving.
Well, I was just going to say how scary to think that for so many people, this you're so scared of the fact that you're living the thing that happened to you in the past that you're soothing it with this addiction that you think is dragging you into the present, this thing that you want now. But really it's just distancing you further and further from your life.
And that's why it's so sad.
It's so sad, isn't it? Addiction is so sad.
You're right. Totally reframes the way that you view potentially people in your life.
Yeah,
definitely.
That have an addictive.
And I find it funny that we've actually literally spoken on this podcast about one of the podcasts we did was if you're ambitious, are you a dick?
Oh yeah.
And it's funny because you're talking about people that you see, high profile people who are I'm talking to you, so clearly addicted to ambition.
Yeah.
And geez, we give them a bad rap, those people.
Yeah.
Like we look at anyone who's overly ambitious or, just driven, we
Yeah.
give them such a bad rap. But we do judge them so much.
Or we don't understand their pain either, right?
Not at
They go,
all.
oh, how
Yeah.
come they're in rehab? Or how come they killed themselves? They've got everything.
Yeah.
right?
There's
Yeah.
a lot of that, isn't there?
Yeah.
In the celebrity world, totally. It's just like, how dare they complain?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they've got this perfect life, and it's like that is such a disgusting
It's so
misunderstanding
far
of
away
what
from
someone
that.
is going through. Or like
Yeah.
they've probably got to that level
Yeah.
because, like, it's almost
From
like
complete disconnection and
Yeah,
complete avoidance.
Yeah.
yeah.
Complete survival. That's survival mode, right? That's me being something I'm not, so that I can belong and so I can be loved. And then that's the heartbreak. Like all
Yeah.
these people love me, they don't, because they don't even know me. Because and so these people are the loneliest people in the world too.
Yes, of course.
So would you say it's true that addiction is just fortifying your ego? Like addiction is fortifying this false concept
It's
of who
keeping
you
you
are?
stuck.
It's keeping you stuck.
It's
strong.
letting the fake you survive.
Yes,
Isn't it kind of like
literally.
it's the fuel
It's
for
the
fake
coping,
you.
yeah. It's the coping mechanism. Remember,
Yeah.
So it's keeping you stuck, because if you remove that,
Yeah.
which is, I say, the Band-Aid, you take the Band-Aid off. It's like ouch,
Yeah.
right? So now you have to move in a different direction,
Yeah,
like
right.
toward your pain, not away from it.
Mm.
And
it's
that's
like,
where the work begins.
yeah, it makes sense. Like in a relationship with other people, right? Imagine pain comes up and you walk away.
Mm.
What's going to happen? You got to walk toward the pain to resolve it
Yeah.
and to
you
create
won't get
that deeper
anywhere.
connection,
Yeah.
right? To have that love.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing we need to practice within.
Yeah.
It's like what they say with sharks. So apparently, if you see a shark and you turn around because you're scared and try and swim away, it's the worst thing you can do.
Right.
Because the shark goes, well, you're clearly lower than me on the food chain and you're gone, right? Whereas if you go at a shark, the shark's like, whoa, you're confronting this. Maybe that's. You can feel free to
You
use
wanna
that
use
analogy.
that in
I know
session,
that
Wendy?
your book's unfinished, so feel free to do final chapter. Go at the shark.
Go the shark.
There's an argument there that I'm bulldozing, but whatever.
No, that's what it's like. You don't want to tell people that, right?
It's scary.
You've got a shark in you.
But it's like you're damned either way. That's
Yeah,
it's like
right.
choose your hard.
Yeah.
Choose your hard was my favorite saying for such a long time, right?
Choose
I
your
heard
heart.
that
That's
the other day.
great.
Choose your
Oh,
difficult was the way I
Yeah,
heard it.
like you can keep doing this and it's going to be
Can you
hard.
explain that? Because
choose your
I
heart,
struggled to when I heard that choose your difficult, and I was like, can you explain that?
Yeah, it's when people think what they're doing is actually no. It's like if you do this work, it's going to be hard. If you don't do it, it's going to be hard. That's literally what it is. So it's like
You
choose
actually
your
get
heart.
to
So you
choose.
can so you can stay stuck in addiction and denial and painful relationships and everything else. That's going to be really hard. Or you can choose to do this work, which will be really hard, but you won't be stuck anymore.
Yeah.
That's so true, which is a
Yeah.
great way to confront that. Like, because for
Yeah.
some of
Good
these
stuff.
people, life is actually going pretty well. You know,
Yeah.
fake them is actually doing pretty well. So it's like, no, I don't want to lose that. But it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well,
Yeah.
you are living with pain though.
Yeah.
And if that's,
And even like as you say that, when people say that, it's almost like, well, how's everyone else in your life doing?
yeah.
Because they're also a telltale sign of how well you're doing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And people hate that because they almost feel like, oh, I'm not responsible for that. But they know, right? There's a relationship that's suffering,
Yeah.
and you are empowered to make a change there. Are you going to do it? Choose your heart. Maybe get a new girlfriend. Same pattern will show up. You know. Choose your-
God.
so it never leaves you.
No.
No.
No, you can't run from it, can
No.
you?
You're so right. You can just you move on to other people that haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, you figured it out. You're done.
It's why people go, oh, keep attracting the same guy, right? Like, it's like, I keep attracting the same guy as people the same girl. Oh, my God. And it's like, it's the patterns that you're playing out that are sort of signaling something back to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Wendy.
we could talk to Wendy for
Amazing.
ages, couldn't we?
We could.
I suppose
Definitely
if you are at that point and you're ready to choose your hard, then please look up, where should people find you, Wendy?
WendyJacobs.com.au.
WendyJacobs.com.au.
Yeah.
Great. You can reach out to Wendy. She's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Don't have to sprint though. Life's not a sprint.
No, that's right.
Is that what you're telling yourself?
No, that was advice for other people.
Hey, there's a shark coming,
was
mate.
advice for other
When are you
people.
going to turn and face it?
No, just don't go in the ocean.
Which
the
you
next
literally
chapter.
don't do,
That's the
by
next
the way.
Are you
chapter.
an avoidant?
Just stay on it. No, that's a miss from you, Wendy. A rare miss from you, Wendy. Please, I ride the shark, Wendy.
Oh, that is so far from the truth. Okay, well, he's got the hat on finally. She went in. She did. She got to
There was a
his eyes.
moment she felt something. I saw it.
I love it. He fucked her out. Well done, mate. Good for you. Good for you. Little win for the boys. Hey. Oh, no. It's off. It's off. And she's in. Great stuff. Wendy, can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was so
Thank you.
informative.
Thank you.
Really was. Like, it was really, really great. And you're just a well of knowledge. It's incredible how much you know about it, how much you feel about this as well. I love the way that you talk. It's never intellectualized. There's a real sense of like knowing that is a deeper knowing rather than something you're talking about that you're describing. This is something that you go through with people. So yeah, please, wendyjacobs.com.au if you want to reach out to Wendy and do some work with her. It's awesome.
Oh,
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks,
Woody.
Wendy.
Thank you.
Pleasure.